500 miles at the Brickyard, Memorial Day weekend tradition. I'm gonna do a little bit different, bit of a race review. Not just go through, every little thing that happened like I've been doing last. Especially since a lot of people don't usually watch the IndyCar races. They usually at least watch the Indy 500, so they kind of have the idea of knowing what was going on. Break down some of the stats. We actually got 7 cautions for 38 laps in the first 300 miles of the race. It was a bit chaotic those last 200 miles. Last 80 laps. 1 caution for 8 laps. We get 90% of that green flag. It was really a fantastic race. 49 lead changes in the race. That is 4th of all time. The record is 68 lead changes in 2013, 54 in 2016. Those are the 2 highest. The highest in not the DW12. I mean, we're still running the DW12 chassis, but the main DW12 era, 2012 to 2017. Because then they kind of did the little bit update of the chassis, and this is the second most all time. The last year had 52, so that's really the kind of new record. We had a record 18 different people leading a lap this year, and it was actually pretty evenly split where they ended up finishing in the field. Nobody who failed to finish the race led the lap. All but 1 driver who finished in the top 18 led a lap. Only 1 driver who finished in the bottom 15 led a lap. Let's go through the finishing results. I wrote down the numbers here on this sheet of paper. Yeah, my notes. Big winner, 2nd year in a row, Joseph Newgarden. And this time he didn't even have to have the series kind of get really cute with throwing the red flags and stuff to give him another chance. First back-to-back winner in 22 years since Castroneves did it. We really should have been talking about this last year because Ericsson should have won last year, I'm going to be honest. It's nice to see Newgarden actually earned a 500 win, instead of just having one get handed to him, I guess, because he did. That finish is never going to. Last year's finish is never going to sit right with me. They were showing that on the replay because obviously the rain delay. They were showing the 500 earlier. I mean, during the rain delay, they're showing last year's race. I was just cringing the whole time because I knew how the race was going to end. It was just. Although I will say, Pato probably could have won last year if he didn't rush that pass on like lap 193. Speaking of Pato, he was I think 2nd to Ericsson in 2022. He was 2nd again this year. It was very interesting because Marcus Ericsson, of course, led coming to the green and white flag on that restart, I guess. So he's definitely leading clear at the line. So Pato kind of wanted to avoid that because he had a run on lap 199 going into 3, and he backed out of it because he would have put him in the same exact position that Ericsson was in last year, and of course that ended with Newgarden passing him on the outside going into turn 3. Well, Pato waited about another half a lap, got the lead going into turn 1, and Newgarden passed them on the outside going into turn 3. So whoever's running 2nd to Newgarden in 2025, you might just have to wait until turn 3 on the last lap to make your move. Or hope that Newgarden falls off or something. Of course, that's going to be hard because now they've got the Floyd Alliance. They got the best in the business in Michael Cannon helping them with setup. So. Yeah, Pato was 2nd. He was very emotional in his post-race interview. That was a depressing interview to watch. Scott Dixon actually got all the way up to 3rd place. he was one of the top 5 biggest movers. I'll get to that after I go through all the race results. Rossi was 4th, Alexander Rossi. I was thinking if it wasn't going to be a Penske car winning, it was going to be a Warden Rossi. And where did he finish? 2nd and 4th at Indy. Just the same day earlier, McLaren 2nd and 4th at Monaco. So he just missed out on a double podium and just missed out on the win. Because Oscar Piastri was 2nd to Charles Leclerc. So, hey, it might be an IndyCar race review, but Monaco was, well, the first lap was really hectic. Charles Leclerc actually finally won Monaco. As a Ferrari fan, I'm pretty happy about that. Sainz podium, always pleased when he's on the podium. Anyway, back to IndyCar. Newgarden, Award, Dixon, Rossi, and running out top 5, the points leader, Alex Palou, actually. Good run for him. Then Scotty Matthews might have picked to win the race. He had some clutch issues pretty much all day. He faded the 6th. Then Kyle Kirkwood had that penalty earlier. Very good run for him. Ooh, blue jay in the tree. I'm recording outside, obviously. Let's see the wildlife a bit. Kyle Kirkwood was 7th after that. Was it a pit road speeding penalty, I think? Alright. 8th place, Santino Ferrucci, of course. I don't think this guy's ever finished outside the top 10 in the 500. This is like his 6th 500. 9th place, Rinus VeeKay. Solid race for him. Carpenter cars did alright today. 10th place. This one's going to be a shocker. Connor Daly was in the top 10. I was actually reading an article this morning. Daly's apparently been talking to Dennis Reinbold about if he was able to, have a decent enough run and more importantly, bring the car home at Indy in one piece. He was trying to talk him into bringing the car to Nashville for the season finale, and he finished top 10. The car is intact. Of course, the 24, which I guess was kind of the main Ryan Reinbold race. Of course, we'll get to the fate of the 23 car later. 11th place, Callum Ilott, just missing out on the top 10. Very good run for him. It's his last race of the year, unless for some reason he ends up in the Coin 51 at some point. Speaking of which, I don't think it's been announced who's going to be in that car for Detroit, which is, I'm recording this on the Monday morning. Memorial Day weekend, I don't have to go to work, and, I'm glad I'm actually kind of recording this on a Monday rather than Sunday night, just so I can talk about. So, just for the implications for a certain other driver, we'll get there. Ilott, really good. He didn't quite get a third top 10 for McLaren, but he gave him a third car in the top third of the field. 12th place was my dad's pick to win the race, which doesn't sound too bad. It's crazy when you think that 12th place guy that he picked to win the race was Christian Rasmussen, but yeah, I kept watching the race early parts. He had like the best strategy ever as a rookie. He's just staying right behind Scott Dixon the whole time. And then he got ahead of Dixon and started tailing Kyle Larson for the whole thing. And then I guess he got shuffled back, but I guess he made his way back up. And Christian Rasmussen, highest finishing rookie. He's probably still not going to win rookie of the year just because I imagine they gave it to Johnson a few years ago. Ian Johnson crashed out. And Larson definitely looked a little bit better than Johnson. I'd imagine they'd give it to Larson, although you've got to give a shout to Christian Rasmussen. 12th place, that's a career best finish. And to do so in the Indy 500 is, his 5th career race? Is his first oval race in IndyCar, I should say. It was a very good run for the 33 crew. He actually led a lap at one point. But yeah, he was running like top 10 for at least 80 laps. And he got kind of shuffled back. I wish he could have stayed running right behind Dixon, because then he would have been in 4th place. I remember at one point later in the race, he's still in like 7th. I'm like, he just needs 6 mechanical failures and another bad spell of weather to come through, and he's going to win this race. He was looking really good. 13th, somehow the highest finishing of the, well, I shouldn't say somehow. Somehow the highest finishing of the Rahal cars was not Takuma Sato. It was Christian Lundgaard. He was 13th. Sato was 14th. Rahal was 15th after starting last. So really good run for him. Sato, the only driver finishing in the top 18 and not lead a lap. 16th was the driver out of all the non-Penske drivers. And by Penske drivers, I mean Newgarden and McLaughlin, because they were the only two Penske's to lead laps. They were the top 2 lap leaders. The number 3 was the guy who finished in 16th place, and that was Stingray Robb. Yeah, I think Foyt's pretty good at this track. I know part of it was alternate strategies, but Stingray and Daly were both looking really competitive, actually. 17th was Carpenter. 18th was Kyle Larson. He's doing pretty good, but he had that one restart kind of messed up really early on and spun the wheels and lost like 6, 7, 8 spots. And then he had the speeding penalty coming in the pit road, but I mean, that got the best of us. It got Dixon last year. It almost got Dixon again this year. Oh man. Was it Dixon last year or was it the year before? It might have been both last year and the year before. Yeah, 18th. Top 18, all except for, yeah, it was, Larson was the second lowest finishing driver to lead lap. 19th, finally finishing in Indy 500, Romain Grosjean. Rounding out your top 20 was Helio Castroneves. He was running decently early on and then kind of faded towards the end. Last car on the lead lap was Kiffin Simpson. That was he also led a lap. The only driver to finish a lap down, or, not finish the race but not on the lead lap, was Austin Canapino. He had a pretty good car, and he had some sort of penalty that pretty much put him a lap down. And yeah, he was coming. He was kind of factoring in that battle for the win, not really. And DNFs. Colton Herta was the weirdest DNF of the entire race because he barely damaged his car. But then he took the ride to the infield care center, even though he just had the car refired up. And so he ended up coming back on the track. He was like 17 laps down, just hoping to get some spots. I think he did pick up maybe a spot or two. Maybe a spot, but then he parked it with like 13 to go-ish because he knew he wasn't going to pick up any more spots at that point. Yeah, so he finished 23rd. He only completed 170 laps. And Will Power crashed out after 145 laps. He's 24th. At around lap 130, after 113 laps, Marco binned it, because of course he did. 26th, this was a really interesting crash. Ryan Hunter-Reay, he really got... It could have been a much worse damaged car for the 23, the Ryan Ryan Bolt, but he did get enough damage. They knocked him out of the race, and it's surprising he didn't penalize the guy who really chopped him off and pretty much caused the crash, and that was Scott Dixon. Very un-Dixon-like move. So he's 27th. He can only complete 107 laps. 28th, there were a lot of engine issues. All the Swedes were in the back. There was one out in lap 1, one out around lap 28, so I figured, at this point, it's probably going to be one out about lap 56. Sure enough, after 55 laps, the engine blew on Felix Rosenquist's car, which he was looking like one of the stronger Hondas. And it was at that point, because there was a few other Hondas that had engine problems. I'm like, I do not trust a single Honda to win this race. Not even the ones that might be competitive. 28th place, completing 27 laps, was Linus Lundqvist. So yeah, there's the guy who was out on lap 28. Catherine Legg also, I think, had some engine troubles. She was out after 22 laps. She finished 29th. Marcus Armstrong only completed 6 laps and finished 30th. He also had engine problems. And Tom Blomqvist, Pietro Fittipaldi, and last place finisher Marcus Ericsson all crashed in turns 1 and 2. They didn't even make it a mile, and they were out of the Indy 5. That's crazy, because Marcus Ericsson really should be a two-time. He was, even if you think Newgarden won that legit, that's still the guy who finished first and then second in the last 2 years. And he crashed in practice, gets stuck at the back of the pack starting in the last row, and he's crashed out. Big movers of the day. A big mover was Connor Daly, who moved up 19 spots from 29th to 10th. And Dixon and Rahal both moved up 18 spots. Dixon from 21st to 3rd. Rahal from last to 15th. Christian Lundgaard started 28th, finished 13th, a gain of 15 spots. And then the only other driver to gain 10 or more spots was Christian Rasmussen. He started 24th, finished 12th. It was a record 18 lap leaders. Their point standings: Plo, Dixon, Power, Award, Hura, McLaughlin, Newgarden, Rossi, Rosenqvist, Kirkwood, the top 10. And the rest of the top 20. I wrote down the top 30, but you really only need top 20, I guess, because Lundgaard's 11th. That's where it gets interesting. Ferrucci's 12th. VK's 13th. Rahal's 14th. Marcus Armstrong's 15th. Grosjean's 16th. Linus Lundqvist is 17th. Giffen Simpson 18th. Yes, Lundqvist and Simpson are fighting for the top rookie of the year. And Marcus Ericsson's all the way down to 19th. Augustine Canapé is 20th. And the next highest rookie in points is Christian Rasmussen at 21. And that's Fittipaldi, Harvey, Blomqvist, Stingray Robb. Those are really all your full-time drivers. Well, Harvey isn't really full-time, but he might as well be. He's close to it. And I guess the next best of the part-time drivers at the moment, Callan Isla 26th, Theo Porcher 27th, and Connor Daly, I guess, probably a one-off, 28th. Larson's definitely a one-off. Sada's definitely a one-off. You know, the one-offs are people that might run more races, later in the year, but they just don't have anything signed on yet. Where do we go from here? Well, there's Detroit's next week. That's going to be interesting. Plo's the defending race winner. There's 12 races left in the season. 6 of them are ovals, which means Heard Newgarden is up to 7th in points. I gotta think he's the championship favorite again. I got a couple stats here. So there's 6 oval races. 2 of them are Iowa. Newgarden is crazy. He's got 6 wins in Iowa's career. He's won 5 of the last 7 races. Most impressively, he's won 4 of the last 5 races, and that 5th race, the one he didn't win, he crashed out of the race while leading. So he really could have won the last 5 races here. We've got another one of the oval races is Gateway. That's another very interesting. He's got 4 wins in Gateway. He crashed while in contention for the win last year, and then won the 3 races before that. So he could have won the last 4 races at Gateway. We don't exactly have much data on the other 3 oval races. See, we got 2 races at the mile. He got 2 top 5s when he was driving the 67 car before it left the schedule after the 2015 season. We haven't seen what Newgarden could do in a Penske car, and I'm honestly really afraid. That's going to be... Although, one thing is, I don't know if I'm going to bother watching... Yeah, no, I'm not going to... I'm just saying right now, I'm not going to watch that race on TV. I'm not going to watch either race on TV. Make of that what you will. I will do a race review of it. I keep changing around the different locations that I'm doing it. That will be a very different one. You'll see. You'll see in like 3 months. The big outlier, the big unknown for Newgarden on an oval is Nashville. I don't think he's ever raced a Nashville Super Speedway. 1 1/3 mile concrete oval. Best comparison I could think of that we have any sort of data on would be Texas, because it's a 1.5 mile. That's an asphalt. And Newgarden at Texas, he got 3 wins and 5 podiums in the last 6 races. He's now won ovals in 9 straight seasons. He's won multiple oval races for the last 5 years. He still won Gateway in 2021, that 1 year he did. Can anybody beat Newgarden? Well, there's 6 Newgarden hasn't been quite as good on the road courses. I mean, he's still got a couple wins at Mid-Ohio, a couple wins at Road America, a couple wins at Toronto in his career. Those are 3 of the last 6 road course races. We also got Detroit next week. We've got Portland, and we got Laguna Seca. Those seem to be his weak points because he's never won there. I think he's won at Detroit, but it was at Belle Isle. This is downtown. This should be very interesting. Maybe Power's got a chance. Power's been runner-up in 3 of the first 5 races this year. He's 3rd in points. Pelot, maybe. Dixon, maybe. They're 1st and 2nd. Here's the thing about Pelot. He's never won an oval race. I want to see Pelot win an oval race, but I don't see it happening soon because Newgarden is so dominant on ovals. I don't see Pelot being Newgarden. That's the problem. I want to see him win a couple oval races. He's stuck forcing the lie on the right turns, and especially the way the schedule is laid out, like the oval races are like 6 of the last 7 races or something like that. It's crazy. Or no, maybe I got that wrong because I think it might be 3 road course races and then the doubleheader at Iowa. And I think it's 2 more road course races. And I think 4 of the last 5 are ovals. So I don't remember. Anyway, it's gonna come down to if somebody's gonna beat Newgarden, they're gonna have to build a big points. It's gonna be like Pelot would have to build a huge points lead, or pretty big. He's gonna have a lot of really good results on these road courses, so that he has enough of a buffer that if we're more likely when we hit all these ovals, and when Newgarden decides to go off and you just go on a complete tear of the Pelot can patch together enough good results to clinch him the title. It's because of if Newgarden is like really close to the points lead when we hit that final stretch, it's over. It's over unless something happens. Yeah, that's it. Working on some of my other, I am doing some thumbnail stuff for my game playing and stuff. I've got a series that I need to debut, a mini-series, I'll figure something out. I maybe will be able to do that later today, maybe not. Maybe I'll finish off watching the original series of Star Trek. I got 1 episode left. It's a pretty good one because I'm doing it kind of out of order. So yeah, there is that. You know what? For now, this is Western Cave. I'm signing off. I'll see you in the next video.